Xin chào, hello there. Welcome to Learning Vietnamese the Funny Way audio version. So, if you watch my video tutorials, Learning Vietnamese the Funny Way, you will see and find out why the reason I'm teaching Vietnamese. Watch my video tutorials, Learning Vietnamese the Funny Way. You will see and find out why the reason. So, to start, I would like to briefly explain that I had a presentation several years ago in speaking Vietnamese in class with my fellow classmates. When I try to teach the tones, they found it very funny. So that's why I would like to teach this to people who are audiences who are learning Vietnamese, or beginning to learn Vietnamese, or people who are not Vietnamese, so that pronunciations and tones will be easier. For more details, you can watch the video version, but I'm having this audio version for two reasons. The first reason is to make sure that everything, if someone to clarify questions regarding the previous lessons that I've went over. In this case, the Vietnamese vowel, the tones, the 6 tones, and the Vietnamese vowel ah and the and ah, very short. If you would like to call in, the phone number is 1-408-755-5260, 1-408-755-5260. This is my first time teaching Vietnamese live to a very wide audience. So if you do know Vietnamese, and if you have any questions, if I'm something that you don't disagree with, please bear with me. And the next reason is if someone were to call in, I'm having an audio version so that I can answer questions without revealing the person's phone number to the other audiences. So you can stay assured I can answer questions. Once again, if you have questions, please feel free to give me a call. And hopefully I find you will find this useful. And if this is useful, then I probably will start making more videos or taking more questions. But right now, I'm trying to make this video and Q&A forum and going in audio version to see how this goes. Once again, my name is Peter Nguyen. My email, if you have any questions or feedback, if you don't feel comfortable calling in, it is learningvietnamesefunnyway@gmail.com. learningvietnamesefunnyway@gmail.com. Now, since we're here, let's go over introductory to Vietnamese. So in Vietnamese, there's a total of 6 tones, main tones. The first tone is a blank tone, which I'll use as a more concrete example. If there's a vowel And what I'm going to do is I'm going to introduce all of you to vowels and with the tones and with the accents and a combination of vowels. After that, I'll start using that and combining it, introducing consonants and then combining with consonants with the vowels. And then once everything is done, we will form all those words together to form sentences. So now I'm going to review what we went through in the previous lessons. Day 1, part 1, and day 1, part 2, day 2, part 1, and day 2, part 2. Okay, so in day 1, part 1 in the video, we discussed about the blank tone with, and then there's an uphill tone that looks like a forward slash. It's high pitch. You put it on top of a vowel. And there's a downhill tone that you put on top of the vowel that looks like a backslash. It's downhill and low pitch. There's the questioning tone where it is a question mark. There's a question mark without the dot on the bottom. You put it on top of a vowel. There's an on or over the edge tone that is looks like a tilde. You put it on top of a vowel. And there's a period or a drop or heavy tone. You put that on the bottom of a vowel. Okay, and to demonstrate that, it will be much easier if I introduce you with the English letter A. But before we even go into that, in Vietnamese, there's has similar vowels like in English. There's A, and there's the English letter E, English letter I, English letter O, English letter U, and there's a special letter, vowel. The consonant Y of the English language is considered a vowel that is very similar to the I in the Vietnamese language. Okay, so, but all of those vowels they're not, even though they look the same, but they are not pronounced the same as the English vowels. Okay, so let me demonstrate. It is the letter A in the English language has 3 forms. It can be just the A itself. It's called ah. Okay. And then there's the A with the pointy hat, points on the top. Same thing as if you take a look on your keyboard, the symbol that is looks like a hat on top of the number 6. We call it and the next one is the A with the parentheses on top, like a smiley face, corresponding to number 9 on your keyboard. Put on top. It is ah, but shortened. Ah. Okay. So I'll start introducing the terms for the tones for the ah, the 6 tones. So the first tone would be the normal ah, just like, and I'll try to be as funny as possible, just like when you're going for a checkup and they tell you to open your mouth. You say ah. Okay, it's like that. Okay, and then the next one is the uphill high pitch tone with the forward slash on top. It's ah. So you have ah, and then high pitch, you go ah. So ah also has a meaning. Well, doesn't exactly have a meaning, but if you put ah with the word yo, which I will go deeper later throughout this course, it will mean the continent of Asia. But don't worry about that right now. Just focus on the ah with the high pitch, ah with the forward slash on top. It would be ah, 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 and then um, lower the ah with the lower pitch, which I call the downhill or backslash on the top of it. You go downhill or low pitch, you say ah, 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 ah. It's similar to when um, a you're trying to ask somebody a question, you don't understand something, and you don't understand something, you're trying to ask somebody a question, and then somebody answers you and they clarify things. You say ah, ah, ah. Okay. The next, I know this might be a little bit difficult because you don't see it. But then if you're an auditory or if you're learning by listening, maybe it will help as well. Just close your eyes and just imagine or try to repeat after me. If you're an auditory listener, maybe this will help for you. That's why I'm trying to do this in both ways, video and audio. Um, the next tone would be the fourth tone would be a questioning tone. For example, when people you try to ask somebody when you're working on something, when a person tries to ask you a question and you weren't paying attention, you say ah or huh or what. So same concept. You take that and you put it in the A. The question mark on top of the ah would be ah, 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 ah. Okay, so that's the questioning tone for the vowel ah. So it's ah. The next one, the fifth tone, I call it the on or over the edge. It's a tilde. It looks like a tilde on your keyboard. It's like a wavy symbol on the left with the number one key in your keyboard. You put on top of a vowel. I call it on or over the edge is because it feels like you're standing on something or you're trying to balance yourself, but you feel like you might fall, but then you know that you won't fall. So your gut reaction would be, ah. That means the pitch or the tone is you go up briefly and you go down briefly, and then you go up again very briefly. So it's ah, ah, ah. It's similar to if you go outside and you hear a car, somebody slamming on the brakes. And please feel free to practice on this one. It took me a while to learn this as well. And just to mention that all these lessons that I'm providing is based all on my knowledge. I'm not following any book or video on this. I'm just going over what I actually do know. And please feel free if nobody calls in today. But if you have questions later, you can always give me a call. I meant you can comment or send me an email, learningvietnamesefunnyway@gmail.com. And then the last tone for the ah would be dropped. So how I remember it is ah, dropped, ah. Drop means something that, let's say you fall to the floor. If, for example, back in physics class, if you did the egg drop, you put the egg inside of a carton with a newspaper and you drop it, it goes just like that. So when you drop something, it's just a drop, very short syllable or short pronunciation. In this case, for A or for A, in this case, you drop it, it'll be A, 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 A. Okay? So we're done. We are done now with all of the um, tones for the vowel A or A. Sorry, A. So we will go over this one more time. So please repeat after me. Um, the uphill, high pitched forward slash on top of the A would be A. The downhill, low pitch, backslash would be on top of the A would be ah. The questioning tone on top of the ah would be ah. And I will go twice on over the edge, on or over the edge tone. The tilde on top of the ah would be ah. And one thing that I've said on the lesson, in the video lesson, in the video as well, is if I'm trying to teach this in the standard northern accent, but I won't overstretch it because in the northern accent, we'll go about this later when we learn about the consonants. The D, English D consonants, without a cross in the D, the and the R, they use the letter Z and to represent the D and the R, Z sound. So, but I won't go over it too much right now. I will use it. I will mix it a little bit with the certain accent so that it's easier to hear. Which is also acceptable as well with the yeah sound. For the R, we can use our English R for that, but we'll go about that later. But what I want to say right now is the questioning tone in the Southern language and the accent and on or over the edge tone, they're actually the same. So they both say ah, ah. For tilde, they also say it ah, but then when they write it, they understand that those two are different. But for learning purposes, I'll put it as ah for the on or over the edge for that, so that it's standard. Okay. Last but not least is the drop ah, which is on the dot on the bottom. It's ah, ah, ah. Okay. All right. Once again, please feel free to provide feedback. Learning Vietnamese funny way at gmail.com. Or you can call off hours. We're off the air. Go ahead. You can call that phone number 1408 755 5260. Remember, you're calling a San Jose number, so it's not a toll-free number. Depending on your carrier or your service, long distance rates might apply, but if your carrier or service provides free long distance, that would be even better. If there's no answer, please feel free to leave me a message, or you can text as well to that number, which is fine. Okay, so the next portion we will go through is the A, or in this case, the A, with the hat on the top. Same thing as the hat on the top. Same thing as the number. you look on your keyboard, the number 6, and then that pointy carrot hat symbol on top of the letter A or A, um, it will be pronounced uh, uh, uh. Okay, so that's just a normal tone there. And then the next one, once again, when you're trying to go um, to the uphill or high pitch, is the ah with the hat, with the uphill tone, forward slash on top. It will be uh, uh, uh. And as I mentioned in the video tutorial, that this here is not the same as the vowel O with an apostrophe on the side, and with the uphill high pitch um, forward slash on the top, because that is pronounced and but this is shorter. Uh, uh, okay. And then now going to the downhill low pitched, which is the backslash on top of the or the ah with the hat. It is uh, 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 uh. Okay. And then the next one, if I'm moving too fast, please feel free to let me know, would be the questioning tone. Remember, we had right, with the hat, and then there's a questioning tone. Remember, with the ah, we have ah. Remember that? Okay, so we'll use the same concept, the questioning tone. Instead of saying ah, we have a question, uh, uh, uh. Do it quick. Uh, uh, okay? And then the next one would be the tilde, with the tilde. Remember, with the sound, with the tilde, we had So now we have the A or the with the hat, with a tilde on top. It is, and the tilde is on the left on your keyboard, left on the to the number 1 on your keyboard. I know this might take a while, so please feel free to stop and rewind, or pause and rewind. If you have any questions, please let me know. Last but not least, remember that the drop tone, or the heavy tone, in Vietnamese they call it the heavy tone, but I call it the drop tone, so it's easier. Remember when we had that vowel, and when you drop it, with the dot on the bottom, it is ah, ah, ah. So in this case, we have the we drop it is dropped, dropped, okay? Kind of sounds like burping. Dropped, Okay, so that's all the high pitches of all the 6 tones for the which is the A with the hat on top that correlates to the number 6 on your keyboard. Okay, and now we're going to move on. We'll try to make this as short as possible, 30 minutes, but of course, if people request that I go over this longer, then I can. But for now, this is my very first lesson, so please bear with me. last but not least, is the short ah. Um, uh, Remember, we have ah, right? So now we shorten it up. Instead of saying ah, we say ah, 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 ah. And this one, it's very easy to compare. It's much easier to compare than with the ah, because this we can make it shorter. So for our normal ah, and this one with the smiley face or the moon on top, correlates to the parentheses, number 9 on your keyboard. Ah becomes ah. Ah becomes ah. 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 Okay? And then the next one, when you're trying to go to the uphill or high pitch, remember, with ah, the normal ah, when you go uphill or high pitch or higher pitch, you say ah. So this, you make it shorter, you ah, and high pitch, ah, 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 ah. Okay? And for the next one, the third tone, we remember is the downhill or lower pitch. So remember when we had that ah, when we lower pitch that, or downhill that would be ah, ah, ah. So in this case, with our short ah with uh, the moon or the smiley face on top, it will be ah, low pitch ah, 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 very fast ah. The other one for the ah, low pitch ah, this ah, ah, ah. Okay, and then the questioning with this letter with the A and the smiley face on top, parentheses on the top with the question mark questioning tone. Remember, we had the normal ah. Question mark is ah, ah. So this would be ah with the question mark ah, 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 ah. And the fifth tone, once again, one of the most difficult tones, would be, remember when we had the tilde on top? With the ah, it is ah, ah, ah. So with the with the moon or the smiley face on top, or parentheses, whatever you would like to call it, left parentheses, flipped, I would say counterclockwise, or you have the zero parentheses flip clockwise. With the tilde on top is ah, ah, ah. Remember, with that ah, with the tilde only, it's ah, ah. And with the short ah, 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 you make it faster. Ah, ah. Okay? Once again, please, if you're not sure or if you have difficult pronouncing, please feel free to let me know. And then, last but not least, is the dropped ah with the smiley face or the moon on the top. Remember, with the ah only, it is ah. Ah dropped ah. Okay? Longer tone, longer pronunciation. But with this short pronunciation, it's ah. So instead of ah, is ah. Ah. And then we drop it. Ah, drop ah. Ah, drop ah. Remember, original is ah, drop ah. And this is ah, drop ah, drop, ah. Okay? So I'll go ahead and review what we went over today one more time. Um, we have three versions of the ah is ah with the hat on top that correlates to number 6 on the keyboard is and have a similar to a parentheses or a smiley face or a moon shape on the top. It is shortened ah. Okay, and with the ah here, we have ah. We do uphill high pitch. It becomes ah. You go downhill lower pitch. It is ah. You have a questioning. It is ah. On or over the edge pitch is ah. And then drop and heavy drop pitch is ah. Ah. Okay. And then for the uhs, the ah with the hat on top, you have uh. And then with the uphill higher pitch, it is uh. Downhill lower pitch, it is questioning pitch on top, tilde or on over the edge pitch, you have and then drop heavy pitch okay, and then last but not least, a very short version of the ah. You cut it down to half. So saying ah, you cut it down to ah with the moon or the smiley face on top. Or the parentheses, number 9 or number 0 on your keyboard. Flip clockwise or counterclockwise. If it's number 9, it's flip counterclockwise. If it's 0, then it's flip clockwise. So it's ah with the uphill high pitch / symbol ah. With the downhill low pitch symbol, which is the backslash on top, it is ah, 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 ah. With the questioning, it is on top, it is ah, 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 ah. And if you have the tilde on top, it is ah, 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 ah. And last but not least, the drop symbol on the bottom, period on the bottom, it is ah, ah. Remember? Ah, 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 ah. Okay? So, if you liked this audio version, please subscribe to my channel. And so far today, I haven't seen anybody call in yet. I believe it is because there is not a lot of people know about this yet. So I hope that later on, for me to answer more questions, I hope maybe people know about this more, and if you watch videos, you know about this more, and more people start watching. I'll be here. Just let me know, and I'll be here to help answer your questions about the Vietnamese language. But I hope you enjoyed the first audio lesson of learning Vietnamese the funny way. And hopefully I was funny. If I wasn't, then I do apologize. I'm willing to take feedback. Please comment, send me an email, give me a call. You can even text if you want. Once again, this is Peter Nguyen, or I should say my last name correctly, Peter Nguyen. Well, you will learn that later on with all the combinations of vowels and consonants and pronunciations and tones. But for now, thank you very much. Have a good day and good luck studying. Bye bye. Xin chào, tạm biệt.